Today we have special guest Karoline Piloto. She was raised in Brazil and moved to Massachusetts when she was 26 years old. She currently lives in San Diego and is a personal trainer and coach. She has about 27,000 followers on Instagram and 12,000 followers on TikTok.
Hi.
We met a few years ago at the beach. I think I also was really drawn to you because you're inspiring and you're motivated and you're working out and you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll post about like oracle cards and spiritual stuff, which I've always been super curious and drawn to. Just anyone who is slightly more aware that there's more to life than just this physical appearance. So I really appreciate that about you.
So I started my spiritual journey back in Brazil before I moved to the US. I remember I was in the process of coming here, and I always try a lot of churches and stuff like that, but I never felt like, this makes sense for me. But then I started dating a guy in Brazil a little before I moved. He knew I was going to move. He was helping me in the process of moving here. So he was kind of prepared that was just like a short-term relationship. But then his mom gave me the best explanation about God. That was, God is in everything, in the small, in the big, and it's literally you and this mug, everything is God. And then that starts popping into my mind, and it is like, it's God is energy, right? It's our life source. They also had a book called Metaphysics. I mean, not a book called Metaphysics, but they had a book on metaphysics. And I remember the guy that I was dating reading that book to me, and I was like, this is so beautiful, it makes so much sense. And then I got that book so I can bring to the US. And then in Massachusetts, my first year was a very hard year, I would cry a lot, homesick, and also the family that I was with, they were not super easy. But I'm appreciative of them. And I would stay alone a lot, like lonely times, and on those lonely times, I would read the book, or I also did a course on emotional freedom technique back in that time. That also helped me a lot with my growth, and like also holding strong that year over there. It was freaking cold and not fun. But I don't regret. I always wanted California, and then finally I was able to come here, and then I just keep going with my spiritual journey, and then the yoga came in, and I feel like when you're ready to receive information, the universe brings you whatever you need to learn at that time. And then if you're not ready, you're not gonna learn yet. But whenever you are, it brings people, it brings books, it brings whatever information you need to like dive in order to grow more and more.
And it's such a beautiful journey. It's really, I've had that experience where when I started asking more questions and I started opening up my mind to the possibilities that there's more to life and that there is God in every single thing, that's when more people came into my life. And then like I would read books or like have oracle cards, things, just a lot more synchronicities. That's the fun of the journey too.
Yeah. When you see like you're getting messages from your guides, or I believe in guides now, I believe in angels.
Yeah, me too.
So it's the most beautiful thing. Like it fills up my heart like insanely when I feel the presence of other guides, not just mine. We all always have our self superior, our higher self. When I ask the guidance, let's say I'm touching someone in a yoga class, or I'm about to talk with an online client, or even get to know a lead online, before I do the call or before I touch anybody, I ask, even before I teach a class too. So I ask like, universe, please guide my words. Use me as your vessel so I can be of your best service and for the good of all. And every time I ask that, I feel the presence, and it's like so blissful, and I feel so grateful for it.
Yeah. It reminds me to ask more often, to remember to do that. It's so important. And
we forget sometimes. We have help.
Yeah.
We don't need to go on our own.
Right? Life is just completely different for me. I used to be super depressed and really just, I was like, what's the point of life? And what's the point of me going to this job every week? Like, I just felt like this really depressive cycle. And ever since I started my spiritual journey and questioning things and realizing that I have guides and I can ask for their guidance at all times, and I have oracle cards, I can always pull an oracle card and receive guidance. My life is just so much more fulfilling and it's so much more fun. And no matter how sad or angry or any negative emotion, whatever comes up, I still know and have faith, and I'm really grateful for my guides and my guidance and to have that faith that I didn't used to have. It's like an alternative to antidepressants.
Yeah.
To have faith.
For sure. Yeah, it's the thing that keeps you going, no matter how hard it is. You know, there's just a phase, and that's gonna be over soon, right?
One question I wanted to ask you is, when I see you, you're so strong, like you're really physically strong, and it looks like you're working out all the time. What keeps you motivated?
To work out?
Yeah.
I don't think it's not just a motivation. I would say, I mean, I have fun working out.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy that time that I'm in there. Like, even today, I'm not feeling that well. I'm like, I'm gonna go work out because I know after I start lifting, I'm like, oof, it feels good. Mm-hmm. But I would say it's more like discipline, and I think that's why nowadays I even don't need to do that much anymore, because I've been consistent for so long. It's easier, you know, to maintain what I built before, and that's what I try to teach my clients on, is find a way that works for you, that's sustainable for you, and then you are able to maintain long term. That's my belief. Like, it's not about motivation sometimes, because if I rely on motivation, some days I feel like crap, like and I don't want to do anything. Like, if I rely on my motivation today, I would not do anything, you know, would even be here. But also I have, like, you know, commitment, not just with myself but with others. And I know that nowadays that's my path, that's my purpose. I inspire others to do their best, like to work out or to be fit or to be healthy, or even to search for a spiritual connection too. So it's kind of like, it's not for me anymore, I'm doing for others. So wow. I think that's what it helps. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I got emotional because it's beautiful.
Do you know David Goggins?
David? No,
David Goggins. I don't think he'd call himself a motivational person, but he's like really hard and extreme and like runs hundreds of miles. Like, he'll just run 100 miles and I don't know. He does really crazy shit. But I was just listening to a podcast, and he was just talking about how someone emailed him. These children's parents emailed him and were like, hey, my child's getting bullied in school. Like, he would really need your help. And David Goggins didn't get back to him until like 3 months later. And when he did, the parents said that the child committed suicide.
Oh, no.
So it's like that's really intense and powerful, that you could actually have that effect on someone's life, to literally save a life. Yeah. Just by you being you and staying motivated. And that's a lot of where my motivation comes from too. That's where my not wanting to be controlled by my fear is, because I want to be that example to other people that you don't need to live by your fear. Like, you can do that thing that you really want to do. You can live your passion. You can be happy. You can be excited. So it's really powerful to really just step back and be like, okay, like, I'm going to do this for other people.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like we are always like, so, at least I was, what is my life purpose? What is my life purpose? What do I like to do for my life? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't understand, I couldn't realize that it's so easy. It's literally just be you and just be yourself and be there and show up. And people will be touched by that, and you don't need to like get out of your way in order to fulfill your purpose, because your purpose is be yourself and be there and just be open, be ready for whatever it is, and the universe will use you, not you. You don't need to do anything. So yeah, I believe like it is selfish. I don't want to say selfish, but it could be selfish of you to just decide to be depressed and decide to, you don't want to do anything, and just stay there stuck rather than, enjoy this beautiful blessing that you have, that is your life, like having this human experience where we can touch, we can feel. It's such a blessing, and it is hard when you are in that state of mind that like you don't feel good, you feel sad or you feel depressed, to realize and understand. Like, I think just the little things, if you realize when you are in that down state, that like, oh my gosh, I have life, like I'm alive, I can experience life through this body, through this mind, and I can feel emotions and I can taste things, I can experience things. So maybe that's the main reason that sometimes when I don't feel well, I try to remind myself that like I'm literally a little piece of God experiencing life, so I might as well want to experience this life the most I can and enjoy the most I can.
If there's one characteristic in a male that you commonly see, what would that one characteristic be that you would want to change?
I don't know. I just agree mostly with the balance of the masculine and feminine. So the only thing that I can probably don't appreciate in a male is if his balance of masculinity and femininity is off. So like some guys, they will have their feminine side more predominant. And for me, that I'm trying to be more of my feminine side rather than just putting my masculine side right there. So for me, it's like a breath of fresh air when a guy can be masculine, but at the same time balance it with his feminine side. What I mean by that, there are some guys, for example, they're very masculine, right? But they're also alpha. They're like extremely alpha. And that means they want to control the woman in order to feel good, in order to feel masculine. And they are the masculine that they understand, they are the protector, they are the, provider. And they understand their part on the masculine feminine balance. But at the same time, they allow the feminine to be, and they allow the feminine to shine and to nurture and to do its thing without feeling repressed or controlled. There's those two variants, right? Either the guy is too feminine and he doesn't know how to act as a man for a woman, and if he doesn't act as a man, if he doesn't have those traits, or if he's not aware if he's doing that, then the woman needs to take on the masculine side in order for the balance to happen, right? So that's why we see a lot of relationships that the woman is the one that take the decisions and they do everything. I think that's great for people that enjoy living that way, but for me, I believe in balance, and the right balance would be the masculine and feminine just flowing with each other, and each one doing its own portion the way it is meant to be. In that way, it's more harmony. I don't think I can think of something that I would change in a guy other than that, or look for in a guy. I look for a guy that has his shit together.
Yeah. What impact do you intend to have on the world?
That I intend. I mean, I don't intend that much. What was happening was like, when I'm not fulfilling my purpose, a part of me feels like, well, what is the point of doing this because I'm not being fulfilled? And I notice now that I'm finally like getting to the path that like this is what I love doing, helping women, not just women but people, to grow and evolve, and be a better version of themselves. I think that's what my intention is, just showing up more and more, and not letting the resistance, not letting the fear, like you're mentioning before, to hold me back to show up. And that's go back to what I was saying before, that's kind of selfish of us if we don't show up, or don't do the thing because you're like afraid of what are people gonna think of me or whatever, like those little things that just stop you from shining your light. So my intent is to more and more be more free, so that I can show up more and more to be where I need to be.
Is there ever a point of so much resistance that it's actually probably better for you to not do the thing? Or do you think it's always good to go and face resistance and do it anyway?
If it's resistance, I agree, you should always face it. Sometimes we cannot confuse resistance with signs from the universe that's not the thing for you.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Resistance, you can, I'm very aware nowadays, like you can notice like, you know, things showing up on the way make it harder for you to do something that you are supposed to do. So like resistance I would call like challenge, obstacles. Different than a feeling on your gut like I don't feel good about this or I don't feel right doing this. I feel like resistance come more on the outside, things that you cannot control very much, and they come like I got sick, things like that. And the messaging, the signs that like when your guides is like, okay, turn right or don't go that way, it's more like a internal feeling.
Okay.
And then if you are aware like, oh, this is just resistance. And then once you realize just resistance, it's easier for you to be like, oh, okay, if it's just resistance, I'm gonna do anyways. But it's hard for you, especially if you're trying. It takes time to be that aware with your own self, I would say. It wasn't that easy for me before. Before I would confuse resistance with like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to do that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now,
I think I do that a lot. And it's still something that I feel like I'm navigating and trying to figure out is, am I not meant to do this or am I just scared?
But like I said, it's easier for you to be aware if you notice, okay, what is happening? Like, are things from the outside?
Yeah.
Or things in my own mind? That can be too. Like sometimes your own mind can self-sabotage you.
Yeah.
And then you just need to be like, become aware of that. Okay, where is this feeling coming from? You know, why I'm feeling this. Maybe even ask for guidance. Sit down, being silent, and like, please, I'm confused. Sometimes the universe sends me signs. I'm like, I don't understand. Like when I'm seeing all this 222 or whatever, and like send me an answer. Like make it easier for me. And sometimes you can ask like even for real signs. Like there was a time that I asked for like a white butterfly, and the universe sent me a white caterpillar. It was so beautiful. If you like confused, ask for clarity, and then that way, you know, you can even ask like, is this resistance? Ask yourself.
Yeah.
Because like yourself will reply. But it is a hard, like a fine line in between both of those, and definitely can self-sabotage you if it's resistance and you think that's not the thing for you.
If someone just handed you $1 million, what would you do right now?
Oh my gosh. I love that question. If I had $1 million right now, I would figure it out a way. I'm already doing, like, I'm already learning a lot, but I would figure it out a way to invest and double that or even triple that before I spend anything. $1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely give me even more sense of freedom to show up for people even more.
Yeah.
So I think I could speed it up, my process, you know, my purpose. But that's something that we have on our mind. There's always the timing, you know, the God timing. So,
yeah.
And I would also give my mom a house at the beach because she want that so bad, and that's my goal. That's one of my purpose too. Like last night I was doing my vision board before falling asleep, and that's one of the things that definitely is in there.
Does your mom live in Brazil right now?
She lives in Brazil, yeah, and she's super sweet woman. Super like she's not very like knowledgeable on things, but she has like a very good empiric or very good heart and connected with God, but like in a sense that is like very innocent. It's beautiful to see, and I appreciate that woman.
So last night when I was walking on the beach, I was like, okay, if someone literally just handed you $1 million, what would you do? I started thinking about how I would love to like put on a big festival and see how that goes. Like a really intentional festival too, with little pop-up stands with like meditation and yoga and breath work and just like all this stuff, but like also with like these big house and techno stages that I love. And then I was also thinking about how I would keep doing the video podcast, but I'd probably start traveling and just going to like different countries and stuff. This question for me, what would I do with $1 million, it's really me just checking in. Am I doing what I really want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I feel like the answer is yes. Like, I don't need $100 to do what I want to do.
Because you're already doing.
Yeah. And I think that we do think we need a ton of money to do what we want to do, but really, you can just start now and take the first step. And it might not be this huge, beautiful production scene like you see other people doing.
Yeah.
But if you just keep walking it, you'll get there eventually.
Yeah, and that's the best way to manifest what you actually want is start being it.
Exactly.
And taking the first, like, what it is that I can do today to be closest to the version of myself that I want to be.
Yeah.
So you're doing perfectly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's always been this balancing act of who do I want to be and also loving who I am now. Because for a while it was constantly like, I want a better body, or I want a boyfriend, or I want more money, and not appreciating where I was in this moment.
Yeah. And the wanting as well, it's we are wanting, we are sending signs to the universe. I mean, lack, so I don't have it. That's like the worst way if you're trying to manifest something and feeling that lack, not gonna help you. So, like you said, how can I fall in love with what I have right now and be grateful for what I have right now and enjoy this moment right now? This is my life right now. In the future is not my life. In the past is not my life.
Yeah.
This is the moment to live and to be here and to experience life, and also start realizing that and have desires. I even call them divine desires. Like whenever I'm doing my list of what I want, this is my divine desires. And a desire is okay for you to have, because if you have the desire, that means you already have it. It's already yours. The only thing that is missing is tap into that vibration. That's why I was saying, like, start being the version of you that you want to be. Because once you tap in that vibration, you start being that thing, or showing up as you already have it, then you have it. Because it's that simple, but it's hard for people to understand. I'm reading this book called Happy Pocket Full of Money.
What was it? Happy Pocket
Full of Money. I forgot the name of the author, but it is so like mind-blowing, freaking beautiful. I always love quantum physics and metaphysics, the event that I mentioned before. But this one explains, like, especially the chapter on time, like how time is relative, but not just relative, it's a state of consciousness. The same way that wealth is a state of consciousness. So, like, if you have the wealth consciousness, or if you have, like, a consciousness that time, you have time for things, you're always going to have time for things. And for me, I think it's more than wealth is time, because I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm in a hurry. Oh my gosh, I have this, and this. I don't have time for anything, blah, blah, blah. I do so much, blah, blah, blah. And I started to realize that, you know what, there's enough time. Everything will be on perfect time. I'm also doing a challenge with Gabby Bernstein.
Okay.
From Super Attractor.
Yeah.
Yesterday challenge, I think, was on that, where we just talk, like, what can you do today to be closest to what you want to be, or you have.
What was it yesterday? Were you able to do something that would get you closer to
I'm already doing the thing that I'm doing to get me closer to where I want to be is already, like, showing up, doing the content, and just starting to become better and better, and, like, searching for clients. And yesterday I had a call with my VA. I gave her some training in order so she can do outreaching for me. I'm already the person I want to be, and it was so funny. Like, it shifted for me. The end of this year finally shifted the wealth consciousness. Like, I'm a wealth already. Like, I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
Always. It's never. The universe is never gonna let you down. Like, if you trust, unless you don't trust, or unless you believe on the lack, because if you believe on the lack, then the lack will show up. So that your belief is true. Like, so everything that you believe will show up. So if you go from the principle, and you believe that you're always protected, you're always safe, you're always gonna have everything that you need. And if you also showing up to serve, you know, whoever is there for you to serve, the tools and things start coming as well in order to help you out. So the answer is that, like, be open and be ready to be at the highest good service, and then your life just get easier. And also don't let your thoughts to self-sabotage you, because some days you're gonna wake up feeling like crap, or like down, or like you're not good enough, or so many thoughts, so many things. And then in those days, you know, understand that, you know, it's just a day, and okay, I have two choices, right? I can choose to listen to these thoughts and feel terrible about myself and feel crap, or and let this vibration tap in and start. I know if I get into this vibration, I'm gonna start attracting things and people that also are in these vibrations. That's not what I want. I want to attract things on the higher vibration. So then what helps with me nowadays is like, okay, I'm feeling, and then you're there, and then it's hard to get out and understand you are, you know, in a matrix in your thoughts. But then once you realize, no, I choose joy, or I choose love, I choose freedom, whatever it is your thought. Like if it's fear, I choose love. Because if you choose love, there's no fear. Love is way stronger than fear. And then you make that choice, and you have that. Everybody can choose whatever you want. And you making that choice, you switch it up your state of consciousness, and those thoughts, they go away. It is hard in the beginning if you're starting, you know, but then once you get into the level, it's just like, okay, I choose joy, and then that's it. You chose joy. So then don't let that bring you down again, or don't talk with people about the thing that brought you down. Whatever it is, choose joy and move forward. Keep the high vibration, so then you can keep attracting high and good things into your life.
Sometimes it's so hard to break the momentum. Like I'm at this point where when I'm feeling really good and grateful, and then something comes in and maybe like brings me down, I'm just like, I don't even want to I don't want to go there, because like the moment you slip into like, oh well, that was kind of bad, like, or thinking about other people or anything, it just feels like a slippery slope, and it feels like a snowball. And I realize like the more that I just let that happen, the harder it is for me to get out of it. So I really try to just stop it immediately.
Yeah.
Just like don't give it any attention.
Yeah. Like I feel like you go back to like realize that's just resistance that are on your way, like obstacles.
Yeah.
And they will show up, because the universe also want to test you, like, are you really ready? Like,
Yeah.
and those are little tests, because once you like start not letting those things bring you down, that means you're growing and growing on your consciousness. So then, you know, you're more ready for whatever it is, your path, because you're strong enough. Like it's kind of working out. Like you practice, you train yourself.
Yeah.
And the same thing for mind, like train your mind. Your life will be always great.
If someone's looking at your profile on Instagram and they're thinking that Karoline is so sexy and she has so many followers and I love her life, I wish I was like her, what would you say to that person?
I mean, if they take that to be inspired by and you know, be driven to get better themselves, that's great. That's my purpose right there. And I think God, you know, gave me what I have. Of course, I'm very driven. So like everything that I have nowadays, it didn't came that easy. Like I got discipline, and I decided whatever I put in my mind that I'm gonna do, I freaking do it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I have the results that I have nowadays. Yeah, it doesn't come easy. And I also have people that I look up to. Like I have people that I also like admire and get inspired by.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to look at it. So if they look me as an inspiration instead of you know, comparison, because comparison not gonna take you anywhere. But if you get inspired, then you know, you can achieve as well. Like if I can do, you can do too.
Yeah.
Anyone can do. We are all little pieces of God. So whatever you want to create in your life, you can.
Yeah.
You know, I created my life because I decide to, but everyone can do it.
Who are some of your inspirations?
Oh my gosh, I love so many people. But Gabby Bernstein, about the spiritual. I love Joe Dispenza, of course. My dream is to go to his retreat.
Yeah.
Now, girls, I think Anita Halbert. She's a Colombian too, and she's also in the fitness industry. I love Brie Morrison. She was my business coach. Very powerful woman. And friend now, we talk. Who else? Jen Schwager, she came here. You even my inspiration too. Like you doing your thing. Like you showing up. You know. I don't think it takes a lot for me to be inspired by people. I see good on so many people. Those right now on the top of my mind.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned people that you know, like Jen.
Yeah.
And me. Because I usually think of like these like big famous like Gabby Bernstein.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can really be inspired by so many people. My favorite kind of person is just anyone who's fully expressing themselves. Just love it so much. Like whenever I go out to concerts and stuff, I'm always observing and I'm like looking around. I'm like, all right, who's dancing the most here? I want to go dance with them. Because there's just something so beautiful when someone's fully expressing themselves, regardless of, I feel like I don't even really care so much what people believe. Like, they could have so many different beliefs that I'm just like, oh, like, I don't believe or agree with that. But the fact that you're so expressive and you're not gonna be quiet because you're scared of what other people think of you, I think that's so inspiring.
So like free people here.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, anyone who's really, really free.
Yeah, and I think like the freedom brings presence too. So like whoever is dancing, you know, doing their own thing there, that means they're present and they're present with themselves. And then it is so hard nowadays. Like so many people, they got caught up in their minds, and it's hard for me. If I'm with you, like I'm giving my time to you, I want you to be here present with me. And I have a very hard time, and I'm very sometimes, harsh sometimes with people. If you like, we're hanging out or something, and they're in the mind, it doesn't even need to be on their phones. If in their phones, even worse. But like, sometimes they're in their mind. Like today, my friend was in his mind a lot, and I was like, I think that's my path as well. I bring the person back to present. Hey, is everything okay? Because it feels like you're in your mind that much, or things like that.
Yeah.
Like it just bothers me. It can be a friend, a girlfriend, whatever it is. If they're in their mind, I try to bring them back to reality.
Yeah.
What is going on here? Enjoy here. Because sometimes it's just thoughts, and those things make you a slave on the head, and you're like, you cannot even breathe because you're like, this, you know.
Yeah.
And then once you get presence, I feel like your higher self can communicate to feel better too. And then you get the answer for whatever you analyze in your mind. Yeah. And I don't know, it's hard for me to be with people that are not super present. I normally will not hang out with those type of persons that much as well.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make me feel good.
What characteristic is important for your friends to have? But I was going to actually ask, is there any characteristic in a friend or a person that you would be like, no, I'm going to distance myself from this person?
Not that I want to distance myself, but like I will not spend my time, I would say. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, it's not that I don't hate on that or anything. If they're not ready yet to be present and to understand, like I don't want to sound like judgmental. Yeah, but it doesn't make me feel good if a person is on their head that much. That means like either I cannot trust the person because they're not comfortable around me, and that makes me feel like, oh, I'm not sure if I can trust because they don't seem very comfortable. But maybe they're not comfortable with something in their own mind, and it's easier for me to trust someone they're being themselves. And I can tell if a person's being themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have a really good read on people.
Yeah. I can read intention too. So like that's sometimes I when I was younger I thought that was like a curse because a person who comes so nice to me, like super nice, and everybody around saw the person was nice.
Yeah.
But I could sense the intention behind it. I get so mad if there is an intention behind it and the person is faking something on the
Yeah.
outside. That when I was younger I couldn't control that. I would be mad. And nowadays I can, oh, I see your intention, but that's okay. You know, nowadays I can just process that.
Yeah.
But I can see intention, and I can see as well if somebody's not being totally open or honest about even themselves or whatever they're talking. So it nowadays I love it. It's like a protection. But even though having that, I try other thing that I do nowadays. Before I would distance myself from that person, right? And nowadays I try to actually connect even more and see what I can find good on them, because everybody has the light and the darkness, right?
Yeah, that's
so
really
I feel
interesting.
like if you search for the light, then maybe that first impression you had, or you know, maybe will go away or maybe not.
Yeah.
But then at least you tried. You give that person, you know, the right opportunity to connect with you, even though your first feeling was like don't trust. I've been finding that's been good. Like allow me to connect with more people. Before I would be more closed because oh, I don't feel good on the energy, so I'm not gonna open up myself.
Yeah.
Of course I'm careful. I'm not gonna open my life with somebody if I feel in my gut like don't trust. But I'll try at least to see the good on them and the light on them. We are all one, and we just have different learning and knowledge in life and understanding in life on different phases of our life.
So if you were just with your 20-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I think if I was 20, I would mind already change my career back then, because at 20 I was doing business, college degree, and I always wanted to do psychology since I was younger. But then back in that time business was easier because I had that in my city. I also look up for my auntie that was like an entrepreneur. So I think it was good that I had a little background on business too, because nowadays I have my own business. But if I could have learned psychology, I think it could be even more beneficial for what I do nowadays. I think I kind of already have a good understanding, even though I didn't went for college for it. But I would probably do that. I'm proud of her nowadays.
Aww.
Where she got, you know.
Yeah.
So I think she did very good. She followed her dreams. She's here in San Diego. I would say, you know, just get excited. Life is gonna get good.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about where you would be in 10 years? Like, who does that person look like? What is she doing?
From now on?
Yeah, from now.
Funny, when I was younger, it was easier for me to think like that far. Nowadays, it's hard for me to think that far, but I think like my goal would be I already have my mom her house, gave my mom her house, and definitely showing up more for people, being more. I know, of course, nowadays the internet is the best way to help more and more people. So be in my element and be literally creating more and more value. I want to be married too. There's that.
Do you want to have kids?
I don't want to have kids.
No?
But I want to have puppies.
Okay.
Have a couple puppies
Aww.
I want to have. And I want to, yeah, I definitely want to be with a partner that we kind of understand life the same way.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. Maybe traveling with him and, you know, at the same time being at the service, but also, yeah, experiencing life and going back and forward to Brazil. Or I don't need like a lot to be happy, to be honest. Like a simple life, easy life, of course, wealth life, because with wealth I can do more for people.
It's hard for me to think about 10 years too, with technology and everything changing so fast, and my dreams are always changing. Like what I want to do with my time is always changing. So we're about to wrap this up. Do you have any programs going on right now, or coaching, or?
I'm offering online fitness coaching for girls that are trying to, you know, either lose weight or gain weight and build the curve. So like the hourglass shape, the booty, small waist, you know, a nice back. But I like to think I am trying to be better and better on like how to that program not just fitness,
Yeah,
but also help the person to grow on aspect of their life. And I think the fitness has a lot to do with someone's growth. Because it starts on the fitness, but then everything else, like health, eating habits, or even spiritual, like I feel like having discipline on fitness elevated someone's entire life. My goal in my programs is to help that woman. I did help so many women now, and they tell me, they give me the feedback, right? And they feel sexy, they feel confident, and the entire life change.
Yeah.
Because they finally got to that place that they always want to be. It's freaking awesome because if I go back to all of this, it's gonna take so long, but when I was a child, I was chubby, right? I wasn't skinny from 6 to 12, and I would suffer bullying, and I was not happy for that. That was not me, and I didn't felt good about that. So I will always be in my mind daydreaming, like, no, I'm skinny. I'm just pretending I'm fat or whatever. Anyways, like I always want to be this version of myself that I am today. Being here is amazing, and that's what I want for everybody, for them to like dive deep and bring it up, that that version that they feel most comfortable on, that the version they are in love with in their life, and be their best self and shine their light, and if it's woman, be feminine, and embrace the feminine, and stop attracting guys that are not aligned with their power and don't see their value.
Mm-hmm.
So like empower women really to see their value and don't let anything else, put them down. Or that's my entire goal in the entire process, not just fitness, is literally empowering that woman to be her best self and be strong, and don't let who don't deserve don't be around. A lot of women struggle. I did as well with relationship, right? I don't blame on the guys, it's just lack of knowledge when they act a certain way that breaks. Of course, girls can break guys' hearts too. That goes back and forward, but I feel like women suffer more because guys sometimes can play with them, or they're just immature and do things that like they don't think on the consequences. They don't think they can hurt someone. So I would say just when they feel good about themselves and they are on the best version of themselves and they work hard to get there, they're not gonna let anything or anyone let them down. That's my main goal. Like you put the work, you do your best. It's hard, it's discipline, it's gonna hurt, it's not easy, but then it's worth it because you're training not just your body, but you train your mind to be stronger in life.
It really is transformational in all aspects of your life, because when you go to the gym, you're pushing yourself and you're working really hard. And when you're done, you're like, whoa, I'm really powerful. I'm really strong. And then you start doing that over a longer period of time, and you start looking good, and you start internally feeling good.
Yeah.
And then food, like you have to eat, like if you really want the body that you want, you're going to have to change the way you eat to be really nutritious, right?
Yeah, like food as a fuel.
Yeah. So then once you start changing what you're eating, again, you're going to change how you feel. Because when you eat healthier, you feel better. And then you get stronger and you get more powerful. And then you realize that you can be disciplined. It just trickles into all aspects of your life. And then you stop putting up with guys' shit if they're not meeting your standards. You're like, I'm powerful, I'm strong, like I go to the gym, I work out, I'm sexy, I eat healthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it will dramatically change your life for sure. And
Yeah.
I really fucking love what you do a lot. And I'm really grateful that your intention behind everything that you do is really beautiful and pure.
Thank you. And yeah, I love everything that you said. I feel like you just become more aware of what you're putting in your body. It can be food or what you're putting in your life, right?
Yes.
So you're just more,
yes.
I work hard on this. You're not putting any shit here.
Right? Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I've grown so much. In college, I used to drink a lot, and I was my heaviest. I think I was like 160 pounds when I graduated. And then I just started working, and I was miserable. And it's been such a journey, just like the spiritual journey, and then like the fitness journey. And the eating journey, because I grew up on junk food and it's addicting, and it's so hard to kick an addiction because it's addicting and it's everywhere, and people,
It's easier too.
it's like okay, like it's
They
like
make
an
it easier.
okay addiction. Like everyone's okay that food is addicting, like with sugar and fat and all this stuff. So that makes it harder. And when you go into a grocery store, it's everywhere. But it's been such a journey. But it's doable. We can do it, and we can really empower each other and be strong and get through it.
Yeah. And also, if sometimes you want to like have a treat or enjoy yourself, it's totally okay too.
Yeah.
It's like the 80-20 and
I struggle with that sometimes. Like I get really upset with myself when I want to like eat some chocolate.
no, enjoy it. Like that's what I tell my clients to, like, if you're doing your best like 80%, then allow the 20% to be fun.
Yeah.
And to enjoy life, and don't be, if you're eating the chocolate, then you might as well enjoy it. Like be like, oh, I love this.
Right.
And have the great time of your life. And I do that myself. Like when this entire week I ate so much chocolate.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm kind of on vacation. I'm just working out to just to keep moving. But I'm taking a little more easy, and sometimes you need to take it easy on yourself, and that's part of the process too of being strong, is like realizing, okay, I did a very good work, and now it's time to relax a little and let the leash a little loose.
Yeah.
But not too much, then go back. Because that's the way that you can maintain, because if you're always like on that discipline, oh, no, I can't, this is my diet, blah, 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 then whenever you let the leash out, then you're gonna go all crazy, like the 80, 100, 0. You know the difference?
Oh, yeah.
Like either you go all the way in. So that's the mentality that I try to help fix. Is like, it's not about going all the way in or all the way out. Just find that nice balance that it becomes fun, it becomes like enjoyable, and you can also allow some room for you to enjoy your life and be happy. And not that working out is not enjoying life, because it is, and it's fun, and eating healthy is also super fun. But sometimes, sometimes you want to go out with your friend and eat out or have a drink, or as long as you have balance. I think you always go back to balance. Mm-hmm. It's good, it's okay.
So if anyone wants to reach out to you or follow you, where can they find you?
Everything is BELLABABEFIT, so Bella with 2 L's, babe, as a babe like you, and fit. All my handles are that, TikTok, Instagram, that's how they can find me. I'm pretty good on answering, so like if you want to talk with me, send me a message, I'll definitely get back to you. Other thing that I did in my life was organize my time management and get rid of like emails and things that would make me feel overwhelmed. So nowadays I'm very on top, so whatever comes to me I'm like on top of it, and I've been feeling good about that, because then I can actually give everyone attention.
Okay.
Feel free to message me.
Yeah, I'll write everything in the description box below also. And is there anything else you want to say?
I think that's all. That's the message I want to share with everybody, that like you are the creator of your reality, and decide what you want and start taking action, and the tools or whatever you need to support you will be on your way for sure. And very soon you'll be the version that you want to be.